So they're made in Vetopate. So we have then Ricardo Biava and Joachim Scholde. Scholde with 13 points and Ricardo with 12. At 12 we have also Stefano Lari and Stefan Rumanil, Nils Thiem and Luca Bastianelli, Rocchetti Marco and Angelo Cadei, Ian Zuzak and Alonso Gonzalez, Francesco Gianni and Antonio Musarra at 10, and Paolo Gaudini and José Antonio Lopez at 10 also. So, this matchup, it will be, I think, very balanced because they play practically the same deck. The Biava deck is rotating around the accumulated knowledge that we know that Biava loves, and but the finisher, the card they use to win as a winner, is the Monastery Mentor that we already told you is the card in this moment is the card of the format that is quite defining the format. And I mean, I don't know the format, but obviously the today's tournament. And anyways, the other information I give to you is it's that the legend draft started. So they are doing the legend draft, 8 people, awarding 6 booster draft of legends and 3 booster at the second one. So this is a big news that we can tell you. So let's have a look to the starting ends. Biava on the right side and Skjolde on the left side. Skjolde's got a mental mindstep, he's got a sword to plowshare, he's got a volcanic island, he's got an island.
I think he has ancestral recall as well. He does have ancestral recall, but he leads with ponder because he knows. I mean, he's got force of will as well on the top 3 card.
Yeah.
Okay, so,
Yeah.
excuse me. Some news for there is started the draft of
Already
Legend.
told him.
And maybe they ask us if we want to
Where?
stream one match.
Where?
That's
if possible, obviously. So Ricardo Biava starts instead with a strong lead with Underground Sea, Mox of Fire, and Time Walk. This is a very strong start because it gives you free mana and it gives you the possibility to have also a strong play. Intuition is in main phase for Ricardo.
I mean, sometimes you have to play your instant spell in your main phase as a sorcery speed just to make sure they actually resolve.
Yeah. Also because if Thomas with Skjolde can untap and put a second island or land with blue in play, will be able to drain the intuition of Ricardo.
Especially like we do know that Skjolde has got ancestral recall in his hand. So even waiting for the upkeep, I mean, it might be a mistake. Obviously, he could ancestral recall in response.
Yeah. So Ricardo decided to play intuition and for free accumulated knowledge and taking in 1 into the end. So, but we know that Skjolde has got a strong hand with also a red elemental blast now active, and so Ricardo is gonna face a strong hand by Skjolde because he's got a force of will, he's got an ancestral recall, and he's got a red elemental blast main deck.
And they're all active.
Yeah. So Ricardo now has got plenty of mana and will do the a merchant scroll. Probably for the 4th accumulated knowledge.
He does have the 4th accumulated knowledge in his hand. So he could just go Merchant Scroll for Ancestral Recall. I mean, having in his hand basically 2 draw 4 and 1 draw 3.
Yeah, he's got plenty of accumulation. The Merchant Scroll resolves. So Ricardo gets into a Flusterstorm, I think.
Yeah, Flusterstorm seems to be a good choice here because obviously he only wants to resolve one of the two accumulated knowledge. So if he can set up a big turn with 5 mana available and try and draw 4 twice. I mean, draw 3 and draw 4
Yeah.
covered with Flusterstorm.
Now Riccardo is fetching a land. He's probably fetching an underground sea again.
It seems like he actually wants to fire one of the accumulated knowledge now.
Yeah, because he developed a lot of mana, so he doesn't have a problem to face. Discard phase. So in the upkeep, Riccardo decided to play the accumulated knowledge in the upkeep of Thomas Kjolde, and he finds the red elemental blast. A Flusterstorm.
So now Skjolde can actually answer
Play
with his
now.
Ancestral Recall, making sure that he draws 3 before Force of
Riccardo,
Will.
Yeah. Yeah. Now Skjolde, with his Ancestral Recall resolving before the accumulated knowledge of Riccardo, and now Skjolde will be able to Force of Will now the accumulated knowledge by Riccardo.
One of the problems between these control matchups is the first one who actually plays a spell and tries to act first is the one losing the counter war. Because obviously you're the first one to act, and your opponent only has to answer that and can always go on top of you. The difference now is that Biava has the 4th accumulated knowledge in his hand.
Yeah.
So, I mean, even if Skjolde managed to draw 3 and counter the first accumulated knowledge, unless he finds an answer, Biava can just untap and draw 4.
Yeah. Yeah, obviously Riccardo played the accumulated knowledge in the upkeep of Skjolde to be able to tap out. Here Riccardo is got now 4th accumulated knowledge and a Yawgmoth's Will, the 2 strongest card he can have in hand in this moment. So Skjolde now is facing a problem because he's got only control elements in hand. He's got nothing to face the accumulated knowledge for 4 by Riccardo.
Also,
Obviously he plays it.
Biava just drew a Force of Will. So even if the accumulated knowledge ended up not resolving, I mean, he can set up a turn with Yawgmoth's Will covered by Force of Will in case he draws another blue spell.
Yeah, he draws a Mana Crypt, a Brainstorm, an Island, and a Snapcaster Mage, but they give him access to another accumulated knowledge for 4.
And also 6 mana.
Devastating play by Riccardo now. Now I think he's Snapcaster into the accumulated knowledge, leaving 1 mana, and another accumulated knowledge for 4. Strong play by Riccardo here. He had a pretty good hand, but he played also well.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely set up a big turn. He had a big risk, because obviously Skjolde only had to draw a Force of Will to just void everything that that Biava tried to do, or even a Duress would have been quite good, because that would have forced Biava to just go Yawgmoth's Will into draw 4. Instead Biava managed to just draw 8 this turn.
Yeah. Draw is actually 8 cards, 9 counting the card he drew for this turn. So Biava in 1 turn he managed to draw 9 cards, and these are the control mirrors that we like most of Vintage, in which the focus is on drawing cards and on drawing strategy. We appeared that Skjolde got their best hand, but anyways Riccardo was able to put himself in a very good situation.
He's definitely in a commanding position now. One thing I don't understand, at the end of Biava's turn, Skjolde has the access to white mana, and he does have a Swords to Plowshare in hand, which he decides not to play on the Snapcaster Mage, but it's not very relevant until you see that he's holding a Planeswalker in his hand.
Yeah. Yeah, in general, it's not a problem to face a Snapcaster Mage in a race in a vintage tournament, but the problem is if you have if you got a Planeswalker and you want to keep it high, you
Yeah,
want.
which is exactly what's happening now. I mean, now he plays Dark Fiden, but he could have also tried to Sword to Plowshare end of turn
Yeah.
to have the path clear for Dark Fiden, not having to worry about Snapcaster Mage attacking the Planeswalker.
Yeah, definitely. Now Riccardo, in response to the Dark Faden, decided to brainstorm his hand with a fetch land in play, so he can really get rid of the two cards he doesn't need and practically get into. But he found the mental misstep of Skjolde.
He already has Force of Will. I mean, at this moment in time, it depends how important the cards are in his hand. He decides to let it resolve and probably just Force of Will Dark Faden.
Yeah.
Or he might as well just let Dark Faden resolve, especially because
resolves.
it does have a Snapcaster Mage to prevent the Dark Faden to go ultimate.
Obviously. Now, obviously, Skjolde decides to draw 2, discard 2. He discarded a land and a Sword to Plowshare. Not so useful at this time. A Mana Crypt of Riccardo. Let's see if he does damage. It goes to, it takes the damage, it goes to 16. But, I mean, V lives, don't worry, will not be a problem in this game. So now, what Riccardo is gonna do is to put the Dark Faden to 2, and then he's gonna probably Yagmoth Wheel himself into a K for 3, Time Walk, Brainstorm.
He can set up a really
Huge.
big Yagmoth's Will because he also has Demonic Tutor. I mean, he
Yeah.
can Demonic Tutor for Black Lotus just to make his Yagmoth Will absolutely huge.
Yeah, obviously. Now he's going into Black Lotus. And he's playing. I think he can close with Tendrils. It just needs 7 spells. So if he can, obviously Black Lotus, as we said to you. Now he's gonna Yagmoth Wheel, and he's got already 3 spells played. Obviously he leaves
2 black float.
he got 2 black floating, 4 spells now. Yeah, you just have 2 Black Lotus, Demonic Tutor for the Tendrils of Agony. Obviously he decides to go for sure with an Arcane Recall on himself. Neil's team is on 4-1, so 4 win and 1 lose. So he's in race for the top 8.
He's probably winning in. If he wins this round, he can probably just draw the last round.
Yeah. So as for Riccardo now is gonna winning the first game by tendriling into Skjolde and giving him the 7. Okay, so first game, Skjolde had a good hand, but Riccardo managed to. If I am Skjolde, though, I would have Force of Will the first time walk on Riccardo, because I have an Ancestral Recall in hand. So I have my plan against that play was Riccardo plays Time Walk. Okay, I do Force of Will on that Time Walk. I go in my turn. I go Ancestral Recall, and I go steal a Rab in my hand to Rab the Intuition. So I if I can in Vintage, I always Force of Will the first Time Walk, because against the control deck, you forbid him to have 2 mana untapped, even for the fact that Riccardo started with a Mox Sapphire and a land. So if he only does land Mox Time Walk land untap, you have the problem is that he's got 2 lands to make a mana drain on your Ancestral Recall. So with a Force of Will on that Time Walk and an Ancestral Recall on his turn, maybe Skjolde could change in the beginning of the game, because afterwards he doesn't have any option.
Especially, considering that Riccardo was holding accumulated knowledge and intuition. I mean, his accumulated knowledge was absolutely worthless without intuition resolving.
You don't have to wait to play the force of will on the key spell because you won't be able to use the force of, I mean, to resolve that force of will. Because if you let your opponent playing, I mean, your force of will loses its value. You have to play on the time.
Let's go through the sideboard of Shoulder. He has Ingot Chewer, probably not coming in. Pulverize, not coming in. Wear Tear, probably not coming in. Stony Silence, Graph Digger Cage, Containment Priest, and Red Elemental Blast. So by the looks of it, he's probably only boarding in Red Elemental Blast.
Yeah. Also, Ricardo, he have a sideboard very focused on mode decks because he's got 2 planes, 2 disenchant, 2 devout witness, 1 spell bomb, 1 explosives. So he probably will get in with a Flusterstorm, and maybe this.
It seems like both decks are very dedicated to beat Artifact. I mean, Shoulder's deck has got 3 Ingot Chewers, 3 Pulverize, Wear Tear, Stony Silence. I mean, he's got 8 cards to sideboard in against stacks.
Yeah.
And also he has Containment Priest against other decks like Oath and Show and Tell, and Graph Digger Cage as well. But he's a little bit light on the control matchup and the combo matchup.
Yeah. Obviously, Mud for this kind of decks is a nightmare because if they face a sphere in the first turn, they aren't combo decks that can do an Arcane Recall and combo out. They have to take time and face the artifacts till they'll be able to play the Monastery Mentor and probably close the game. The difference between the 2 decks is that Joaquin Sciolde playing the red, he's got access to the Red Elemental Blast. He plays 3 Red Elemental Blast main deck. So it is the main difference I see between the 2 decks, which, I mean, playing 3 Red Elemental Blast in a control mirror are a really strong option.
Let's have a look at Shoulder's hand. He has a Force of Will, a couple of mentors, 1 mentor, a fetch land, no acceleration though, but he still decides to keep. He also has a mental misstep, I think.
Yeah. He's got a very control and
He's got a controlish hand, but it doesn't, it doesn't seem to be fast enough.
Cardo-
Obviously, Biava always starting with a
Land-
blue mox.
Land Mox Sapphire is the dream start for every control deck. Now Skjolde facing a problem with his mana base. He's got only 1 mana, he's got only 1 land, he's got no moxies, he's got plenty of control elements.
Also, Biava has got 2 accumulated knowledge in his hand, and 2 Force of Wills.
Yeah, now Skjolde playing a Ponder. He's hoping to find a land.
He does have a basic Manta in his hand.
Yeah, he's got. He's got a volcanic island. And Ricardo now with the 3rd mana. Fetching the Floated Strand. He's probably
Maybe he's trying to
play a
intuition
Monastery
again,
Mentor.
or Monastery Mentor.
Yeah, he can play a mentor now. No, he fetches 4 black.
So he's probably gonna try with another intuition again.
Yeah. Let's say that also that Skjolde doesn't know at the moment that Ricardo plays the mentor too. So
I think he suspects it because I have seen a lightning bolt.
yeah.
He quickly put it on the bottom of his deck, but I have seen a lightning bolt.
Yeah, now Ricardo with another intuition main phase. He knows that Skjolde has the other spell spears. And Biava with a Force of Will, pitching Snapcaster Mage. He wants to put the accumulated knowledge in the graveyard because since he